All right, welcome back to another amazing episode of the Money Pillow. This show, I should say real quick, if you're watching on video, a couple things to note. I'm wearing 99 Designs t-shirt. Thank you, 99 Designs. They are a sponsor. If you go to 99designs.com/money pillow, there is some pretty awesome information there. It'll save you $100. You can get a free upgrade on your contest, and it is pretty much the ultimate resource to get great designs. So thank you, 99 Designs, for helping making this show possible. And thank you to our guests, Mike and Mike, Mike Hansen and Mike Tecku from, oh man, I forget the name of the company.
Madison, Wisconsin is the name you're looking for.
Well,
the oasis of the Midwest.
Yes.
The epicenter of the Midwest. But what is it? It's not Rockstar Photo Booths. It's not, I'm not going to name any more of your competitors. How am I so bad?
Strike a Pose photo booths.
Strike a Pose, that's it. It's Strike a Pose photo booths.
And famous photo booths.
And famous
Sky
photo
booths.
And Sky photo booths, which is actually funny. You're being serious, and it's a funny story, so we'll talk about that here in a minute. If you guys have not heard Mike and Mike's first episode, I haven't checked in a while, guys, but I think it is. If it's not, it's like in the top 3. I think it's the most downloaded or
It's the most
to.
beloved.
For sure. I get the most feedback from it. In fact, you guys were awesome, laid everything out, and I get like email after email. I'm not email after email. When I first released it, I got a bunch of emails from people that were just raving about your show. And it's a really funny story because I didn't think the interview was going to be that well, and the interview went amazing. It was a great show, one of the best yet. So if you haven't listened to that yet, go listen to it. And we are having Mike and Mike back on today to kind of catch up and see what's transpired. It's been close to a year since we did that episode, isn't it? Hasn't it?
I think at least a year, almost.
And as you can see, for those of you who are listening, you obviously can't see unless you're doing that some sort of mind connection thing. But if you were watching on video, you'll see that Mike and I are wearing nice clothes instead of the barrel and rags that we were wearing before.
Look at me having the barrel and rags. What is up with the? I thought
You're a surfer. You're allowed to.
We went to Hong Kong. We went on a trip to China. We both took 3 months off this winter, and one of those months, Mike and I toured around China, and we ended in Hong Kong and got a bunch of custom-made suits and clothes, and now that's all we wear.
Every day.
And we talked about this in a group. You like to wear the suits because you feel like it has changed your life in the way that other people view you and approach you, and interesting. Yeah, this might be a good topic of discussion: the Midwest versus the West Coast kind of mentality and things. But I might put your theory to a test, and actually I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm gonna say wear some suits for a week, but I'm not gonna do it. There's no way I'm gonna be walking around in Santa Barbara. But anyway, so I love that you guys are doing it. You look great. But the reason I want to have you guys back on, your first episode really outlined kind of what you guys do, how you do it, and how great your lives are. You really have kind of one of the ultimate businesses / lifestyles, and really are kind of like the poster boys for the Money Pillow lifestyle. So let's get caught up, because when the last time we talked, you'd launched a photo booth company. It was crushing it. If I'm not mistaken, it was generating around a dozen sales a month. You've got everything fully streamlined, fully systematized, or most of it, so that you guys literally can work very little and generate great revenue. But instead of resting on your laurels, you told me at that point you had plans to become the Procter & Gamble of the grocery store laundry detergent aisle, where there's, I don't know, whatever the company is. You probably said it before.
Yeah, Procter & Gamble.
It's not Procter & Gamble. What is it?
Procter & Gamble, their business strategy is to make multiple brands at different price points, different kind of customer-centric things. Mm-hmm. So they, if you go to a grocery store and you want to buy laundry detergent, you're going to buy a Procter & Gamble thing because they're the only thing on the shelf. Right. So we want to do that for photo booths.
One gets your brights brighter,
so when I look at that,
one gets your whites whiter, so they target something specific.
But
that's what we like to do.
But everyone assumes that they're like all is a different company than Tide, or that Cadillac is a different company than Chevy. But they're all really one company, and not obviously, you know what I mean. So it is the appearance of more options, but it's a win-win.
Let's become the whatever we'll call it, the laundry detergent aisle of the photo booth business, so that when people go and seek a photo booth to buy, they are looking at all of our companies as opposed to all of our company and other and competitors.
Yep.
And you guys, so that was your plan. And have you guys succeeded in doing that? You've launched that?
Yes.
You mentioned 2 other companies, Sky Photo Booths, and what was the other one?
Famous photo booths.
We
Famous.
launched Famous in November of last year, and it immediately doubled our sales. I don't know if you've ever read, there's an article by Malcolm Gladwell. He talks about Prego, and Prego spaghetti sauce, and for a long time, they were trying to make the ultimate Prego sauce that everybody would love. And it turns out that there's no such thing. There's a perfect tomato sauce that is perfect for one group of people, like 25% of the market. So then he came out with like extra chunky and extra tomatoey and extra saucy, and those were perfect for that segment. And that's how they grew their market share to 50, 60, 70%. Was not by making like one photo booth that's perfect for everybody. We made 3 photo booths that's perfect for those particular people and what they're looking for. So instead of what we were concerned about is it cut into our Strike-A-Post sales, it was completely different people were attracted to it. Mm-hmm. So we just doubled our sales, actually a little more than doubled our sales, by adding a different model and a different brand.
Yeah, and so like the summary of that was throughout the year that we ran Strike-A-Post photo booths, we kind of started to see that there was this other market. They were searching for something slightly different price point, and they didn't want the business training that Strike-A-Post came with. And so we're like, I wonder if we just built a photo booth catered to this DJ and photographer market, if it would sell as well. And our initial concern, like Mike brought up, was it would cut into our other sales and we would be competing against ourselves. But it turned out to not be the case at all.
And you decided to go ahead and run with it anyway because you felt that even if it did that, it would still add an increase to some degree.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or
Yep.
and if not, you can just kill it.
Exactly.
And it ended up not even impacting that as far as you could tell, and it doubled revenue.
Yep.
Yeah, and this is pretty funny, but I remember you telling me at one point you have people call and inquire with your customer service about Famous photo booths, and then they hang up and they call and inquire about Strike-A-Pose, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I just talked to the same person." Like you,
We're upfront about it. Like, it's not supposed to be a secret or anything. The reason we do it as 2 separate brands instead of 2 separate models is the Procter & Gamble model, whereas like you search photo booth for sale online, we are now in the top 2 instead of just 1 slot for advertising. So we just take up more space and we kick a competitor out. So now we have 3 actually, 3 different models, 3 different brands, and so we take up more space in that search and just make it harder for our competitors to get in.
Also, to interject, so we also, on each website, we get to speak directly to that ideal customer. So whereas if we just threw the Famous booth on the Strike-A-Post site, we might not be conveying the correct message to that customer. So we can really hone in and tell them what they want to hear in regards to our product. So.
got it. You know what? I just Googled it, and you're right. You have Strike-A-Pose on here.
Mm-hmm.
When did this to me? Did you have SAPPB?
Yeah, Strike-A-Pose
Yeah,
photo
right?
booths for sale was sort of a mouthful.
Yeah. Okay. And then Famous photo booths, and what was the?
Sky,
Yes.
we advertise that one a lot less because it's a less expensive model, so we spend less money. So it'll probably be like maybe 5th or 6th actually. We're working on that still.
Yeah. Well, I see that showing up as a paid ad as well.
Yep.
So okay, very cool. So I do see all 3 of those on here, and
Don't click the paid ad.
Don't.
please.
Yeah.
I just did it. How much do you guys pay for that? The $9.
Come on, Sean.
At least $1.50.
Oh, I didn't click it, but now I'm gonna click it because that's just nothing. No, I'm kidding. All right. So, are you guys the ones that log on and click your competitors' ads every day?
No, we don't have time
Never.
for that.
Yeah, that's click fraud anyway, and I think
Yeah, it
Google
is.
picks up on that and doesn't charge them. Anyway, and I'm kidding. I wouldn't accuse you guys of that. So you launched these, and you've doubled sales. And was it for those of you guys that haven't listened? I mean, just stop and go back and listen. But if you're going to be stubborn, you don't want to. Basically, you have everything streamlined for the most part. So you have your ads running on the web. You have stuff showing up in the Google search results. People click through. They buy. When they buy, there's a customer service person in the office that may or may not talk to them if they want to talk on the phone. And then once that order comes in, it goes to a manufacturer who builds it and then actually ships it. So you guys don't have like this factory in the back of your office or anything. And have you grown out? You actually did. You did tell me this. You've grown beyond just having a customer support person, and now you have a sales rep?
We have a team of salespeople. We have a dedicated full-time tech support person. We have a dedicated full-time customer service person. That's what we've really spent the last 6 months on, is building out a team of really high-quality people that can be a lot more proactive with people. So like our tech support guy now calls everybody up as soon as they get a booth and spends an hour with them going through and making sure that they learn everything.
So awesome.
Yeah. So
And you've
since-
probably reduced your customer service inquiries
You got it.
as a result of that, right?
Yeah, so we've been trying to really improve the business overall and the customer experience. And so one of the things was when we actually hired other people, the business kept getting better. And so we kept seeing like, well, this guy's not working full time. Let's have him call every customer up and make sure they know how to use their booth before they even play with it. And so he literally holds their hand and walks them through how to do everything with their photo booth. So when they have their first event, they know what they're doing. And so we've done that on pretty much every platform. We've tried to really help and coach everybody so that the process is a little bit smoother.
How does that...
Go ahead.
Sorry, hold on, Mike. But how does that work? Does he call him, get on Skype, and then say, "Oh, yeah, touch that button there," or
He can
or
take
is it a
over their.
manual?
He can have them log in, and he can take over their screen and be like, "Oh, you know what? The file you're looking for is over here." Click, click. So we do it. We do that stuff for tech support. We also have a guy that will spend 30 minutes or so on a phone with all new customers and make sure that they understand the business side of things and where all the training's at, and kind of get them kickstarted on that. We've basically been looking at all the feedback we've been getting from customers, fixing any problems that we have with the photo booth. Like we had these light sockets that we ordered, and they were great for our first shipment. And then the second shipment came in from China, and they were faulty, and so we had a lot of bad light sockets go out. So we went and improved it. We found a better vendor with a better socket, better set of lights. And now so the photo booth's even better. But we spent a lot of time doing that for a bunch of things, finding ways to make it better, listening to customers, what they were happy about, what they are unhappy with, and just trying to exceed expectations in all areas.
Yep.
Got it. You know, it's I don't know if we had the conversation or not, but that's one of the things I do with my businesses is look at the customer support and go through every 3 to 6 months and just analyze all the tickets and the most common ones. And then, okay, cool, we got 6 tickets a day about this instance. Is this something we can fix so that they don't have the problem?
Exactly.
Solve problems instead of like cure symptoms.
Yeah, exactly. So that's cool that you did that. And I can see like that does so many things. A, not only does it decrease the customer support, B, it improves the experience for the customer.
You got it.
Because some people probably never even were reaching out. They were just frustrated and trying to figure it out on their own. So now you fix the problem. So even the ones that you didn't know were having an issue are now having a better experience.
So we were able to come up with that sort of thinking because of probably our biggest breakthrough mentally this year was really getting over ourselves that we were the best at everything that there was to do, is like sales or marketing. The minute we got out of ourselves and realized someone else could do this specific job better, and then free us up to like stand back and look at things and work on fixing things instead of putting out fires, that's when we got better. Like we hired a sales manager, we hired a logistics person, we hired all these people who were better individually at these tasks, and then we could step back and just work on the business instead of in it. And that's when things have really opened up a lot more.
Exactly.
You guys, when we last talked, we're doing around $1 million a year. Can I ask what the 3 photo booths? Because you guys are doing some other stuff too. I want to talk about. Are you over? You're over $2 million. If you double, are you over $3 million? Are you close to there?
Yeah, getting pretty close. We're on track to exceed 3.
And so obviously with revenues tripling, your costs have gone up too. Have your costs tripled, or are you, because the way the structure's set up, you've been able to get it to double the costs, or not even that kind of?
Well, so when we had one company, we had to still pay the employees to do the work. So
Sure.
those fixed costs were kind of still there. So when we expanded and we added famous photo booths, we started to outgrow our initial sales systems. Like we had a spreadsheet that was to track all of our customer orders, and everything was done manually. And so just in the last 6 months, we put together a CRM system in the back to really help the employees kind of go through their day-to-day processes quicker and more less time consuming. And so that efficiency has made it so that we don't pay anything more, but now they can handle twice the load, 3 times the load, without having to work that extra effort. So we saved ourselves an employee by paying $250 a month for a CRM system.
But yeah, costs have gone up, but they haven't doubled, I guess.
But yeah, you tripled revenue. It's so freaking awesome to hear. Yeah, I had a hunch it would be double. So if they haven't quite even got to that, that's even better. Awesome. Okay, so and just real quick about those systems that you put in place to make the kind of back end more efficient. Was there one kind of thing that you did that was like mind blowing at how much time and energy it saved? Or was there something you did that could have eliminated something that was being done manually before?
So if I had to pick one thing, let's see. So a lot of our, the client manager's role. So it's a lot of manual follow-up, a lot of sending emails with like, here's your tracking number, here's your welcome video, here's your password to log in. I made it in the system so it was completely automated. So like we're using Infusionsoft, and some of it's kind of funky, but when like a booth is shipped, instead of having to write an email, send it to the customer, give them their tracking code, send them to the link, she now only has to like put their tracking number into a field in Infusionsoft and then tag them with booth shipped, and it automatically sends them the email. Do you guys
ship everything through UPS or USPS or?
No, we use a freight shipping company called RL Carriers currently.
I wonder if you could even have your developer take the API from them and streamline that, because I've heard of some friends doing that ship a lot of physical products.
Yeah. If we were doing over 1,000 shipments a month, I'd say that's something to look into, but under 50, yeah, you can just do it manual.
I would say, though, the biggest thing is not necessarily a software, but just like getting people who are specifically good at, like having someone who is like an amazing tech support person and understands computer instead of someone who's kind of okay at it has made a big difference, because they're solving problems now before it's a fire, before it's an urgent thing. Like they're getting people ready and fixing it. Like instead of, for months we were dealing with like, oh, what are these light sockets? They're total crap, and we're like trying to make customers happy, and now we get to spend time on making it a better product and fixing it instead of trying to juggle spinning plates. Like just eliminating the problems has been huge. Like we've been so much more efficient. We can focus on making people happy instead of bringing them, making unhappy people okay. We can make people really happy,
Yeah, I can imagine. Oh, that's so cool, man. I'm facing some challenges in my business right now that I can't wait to get beyond so I can get back to that level, because I'm at that. I got some issues that I got to get fixed up. So I know that feelings have been there for a long time, and that's a great place to be. So that's really cool. So, all right. So you guys are... I know you were still working a little bit. When we talked before, you guys, I can't recommend it. Go back and listen to that interview. Immediately after kind of launching the business, you took a trip where you guys rode motorcycles down to somewhere deep in Central America, right?
Was it Mexico and Guatemala?
Down to Guatemala. And we're able to make money kind of the whole way. And then last time we talked, when we kind of wrapped up, you were telling me you were going to be working on these booths. Are you guys working? What's your schedules like now? Are you because everything's going so well? And we haven't even talked. You're doing some other things as well.
Yes.
Are there any of those live? Can we talk about any of those yet?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Before we get into those real quick, though, has things changed to the point that you guys are like, 60, 80 hours a week?
Oh, God, no.
Grinding? No?
No. There was a couple months where we were pretty stressed out, and then we started bringing on people.
Right.
Yeah. To handle processes and systems.
So we do a lot. We've been doing a lot of management these last few months, and doing some proactive kind of work to kind of get the systems and the everything ready to handle more stuff. But we just last week hired a new CEO who's going to be taking over, and
we're going to. You're kidding me?
Yeah. That's the big awesome thing. Like you increase your revenue enough, then you can afford someone to really. So Mike and I will be completely out of running it.
Yeah. So what was happening?
Who's the? I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm like dying to know about this. So this CEO, ballpark. You don't have to say his pay, but is it like $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month? Like, what's it closer to?
10.
Closer to
10.
10.
Okay, so closer to 10. So it's a good position. Does this guy have a good background? Is he getting equity?
yeah.
Like, how do you work that out?
The guy's phenomenal. So like we actually met him just via networking. Our bookkeeper recommended an accountant, and we asked the accountant if they knew anybody who would be great for the CEO position. Just so happened to be the accountant's brother-in-law was just exited a company for multi-million, and now he's
got a Harvard MBA. He's run lots of huge
Yeah.
companies. He just had a daughter, so he's looking for something he can stay at home with. And we're like, this would be a great fit. Perfect. Please bring your experience.
And the reason we decided to look for this guy was Mike and I were doing all of this management. We were hiring new people, and we were feeling really burnt out and bummed. And we were like, why are we feeling this way? And it's like, you know what? We're not pursuing our passion anymore, which was finding new products, taking them to market, writing the copy. That stuff's exciting for us. That's what we live for.
Well, yeah, because it's like a new venture. I get
Being
it.
creative, yeah.
And so
Okay,
this guy is a systems genius, and we were like, perfect. You come in here, manage, run the business on this end. Oh, and we get to be creative and
How
have
can
fun
you
again.
do that, be virtual, and be work from home? Do you guys have a physical office where these people work from?
Everybody's virtual.
Everyone's virtual. They're all around
Are
the
they all
country.
in Wisconsin?
Nope.
How many of them are?
4 of them, but none of them are in the same city. Some of them are a few hours away. We have another one in Minnesota, and we'll probably hire a few more out of. Everything's done through Skype. There's no reason to be in an office. Plus, it saves us a lot of money, and I think our
it's funny.
employees
I
just like it
recently
more.
just shut down my office and got back because I found it was like got me to the same place you were. I wasn't with the way I built my business. It was virtual for a long time, which allowed me a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility. I had great people that were good at doing certain things. And so I went to the office environment thinking that if I create a local team, we'll have better synergy, we'll get more done. And we did. For a while, I had like this core unit that was like crushing. But then one thing would happen, and this guy had his visa expire. He had to go back to Italy. And then a competitor came in and kind of lured another employee away. And or he went and sought other employment because of one reason or another. So just little things happen and change, and all of a sudden it's like I'm stressed out. I'm like hiring and firing and managing, and I'm just not my natural role. And when you're virtual, you find people that generally virtual employees are good at what they do because if they don't do it, they're not going to have a job. Whereas I feel like in physical, they feel like just like going to a place, checking in, and leaving is like their job. Not the actual work.
Right.
Yeah.
Plus, when you have that office, you feel like you have to go into the office now. You have to go in and work or at
Right.
least show your presence. Otherwise,
Well,
they're going
you
to be
guys-
like, that Sean doesn't do a damn thing.
Well, I kind of felt some animosity from a
Yeah.
couple employees that were like that. So yeah, it creates a problem. But I was wondering that because now you have a CEO, you don't even have to be there. Now you have that guy that can do it. I do think between you and me, I think you can get a better value out of your company if you have a team in the same room working together on the same missions and everything.
Oh, sure.
But for me, it was detrimental because the kind of manager that I am. So anyway.
Yeah. So the thing of it too is
I-
we're not going to be completely removed anymore. Now we just get to focus on the creativeness of the photo booth market, new add-ons,
Yes.
better software, and it's going to be like
You get
back
somebody to
fun.
run the day to day. Yeah.
What's that?
You hired somebody to run all the day to day.
Yeah.
Well, it
We
was
kind of
it-
already had that.
We were still doing a lot of hiring, firing, managing, and we weren't getting the most out of our team. I think it was just sort of the realization that, like, one, we're not as good at this as we should be, the managing part.
Yeah, that's
Two,
me
we
right
don't
there.
really like it. It doesn't make us happy. So we do even worse. And it's just not the best use of our skills. We have a certain set of skills that we're not taking advantage of it. So like Mike and I started this this new company. We sell these stand-up desk mats, and us creating that has created an a lot more wealth than us managing our tech support person or whoever.
I'm so excited to talk about this because I've not been involved, but I've been well aware and with Mariana and whatnot. But anyway, I want to get to that, but I want to kind of close out this virtual and the CEO aspect of it because I'm like, you guys are always mind blowing to me, and this is awesome. So, what is the main function of this guy who you're paying a lot of money to run the company? If you had somebody in place to do the day to day, what's he doing?
All right, so he is going to pretty much take the system that we have in place and put it on steroids. He's going to enhance it.
What does that mean?
He's going to
he's going to make a real business out of it.
He's going to try to do a real business. He's gonna watch over the sales team.
$2 million a year is not a real business.
Yeah. He's gonna manage the sales team. Really put some goals in place for them. Put some systems in place. Really lock down job descriptions for everybody. He's gonna manage our projects. Make sure things get done on time. He's gonna go over all the numbers.
What was that, Sean?
Has he worked in a virtual environment?
Yeah, he has. I would say the main thing that he's going to be doing, besides like human resources and management, is just being the decider. You know, there's a million things that happen all the time in a business that someone has to make a decision on, and most oftentimes those decisions get punted up.
Give me 2 examples of recent decisions.
Switching vendors of something, or a customer is in this situation. What do we do? Where do we spend this money? Should we get this new product? Okay. And
are you comfortable with his decision making?
We're gonna find out. I'm comfortable not making decisions anymore.
He's got an incredible
watch
track
what he does, and then you can always correct it should you need to.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is someone has to be there to make decisions. We've been trying to get our employees to do it, and at the end of the day, like, we weren't super comfortable with every decision they were making, and they weren't super comfortable making it. So we need someone to do that, and to just who has more experience with things like moving into Europe, who has more experience with managing inventory than we do. All the legal stuff, like we're signing up for payroll and taxes, and this is all new stuff for Mike and I, and we don't like doing it, and it's been a mountain of stuff to learn. So why not just bring someone in who knows what they're doing already, instead of trying to figure it out, which has always been our philosophy. Find an expert. Don't try to figure it out.
It's so interesting. I can attest to a lot of the value. I've got somebody on staff that handles the payroll, getting us incorporated, and not incorporated, but switching structures should we need. I moved from Ohio to California, getting things set up in California, and payroll and blah blah. So yeah, it's great to have that. I can't imagine. I would have screwed it up, and I'm sure I would be like, the government would be coming saying, "Hey, where's your tax money?" Because I would have been bad at doing taxes and all that stuff. So I can totally attest to the value of that. You mentioned inventory. Have you guys seen the show The Profit on CNBC?
No.
Yes.
Do you like it, Hansen?
I do like it. It's okay. They skip a lot of stuff, but I think
they do a lot of important stuff. Yeah.
Every now and then there's a good little gem or two kind of in the show.
For me, that's been so full of nuggets, and they just went. I just watched one. The episode was Worldwide Trailers, and there's a trailer company who so many different lessons in that one that were really good for me. But the one thing they were talking about was inventory and knowing your inventory, because basically your inventory is also like a bank account.
It's your
like
money.
It's money that you have in the bank, and it can help you forecast where to spend money based on what you have, and then blah blah. So it was interesting for me to see it. So I get why that's important to you guys. And there's probably times when you can't manufacture because you're missing parts of your inventory because you screwed up and didn't realize you were down to 10 pieces.
Oh yeah,
definitely happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So anyway,
there'll be times where you look at your bank account and you're like, "Where's all the money at?" And you're like, "Oh, we've got 80,000 in inventory." Okay.
Or we've got 200,000 in accounts receivable that we haven't collected yet. I mean, basically, we're okay at all these things, but we're really great at some other things. But when you surround yourself and your whole day is doing things that you're okay at, it just makes you feel like you're like drowning. Like you're like, ugh. Right. Nobody likes to not be good at stuff, so I just want to do stuff I'm really good at, and then I feel like a king all day.
And we've made it to the point now where we can do that. But when you first start, like when we first started the business, you have to wear all those hats. You have to be the best you can be at spreadsheets. You have to be the best you can at inventory. And then once you get to a certain level, that's as soon as you can hire it out.
You'll grow.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting to hear your philosophies on that, and it's impressive. The other thing is too, you guys have had like a pretty good run, and with that kind of profit and stuff, it makes it easier to let go of things because you're comfortable. You're doing well.
Yeah.
So
other key lesson: be profitable. That's. I know that sounds ridiculous, but I can't tell you how many people I've met who are starting a business or call themselves business owners or entrepreneurs that are like pre-revenue for like 2 years, and they're wondering why they
Hey, sweetie.
for those of you who are listening, Sean's beautiful daughter just walked in.
You want to say hi, Issa? Say hi. Okay. Now get out of here. No. I love you. I'll see you in a little bit, okay?
Anyways,
Thank you. So anyway, so yeah, go ahead.
but being profitable as soon as you possibly can, and not waiting on investors and a certain amount of users to come in, and then like 2-3 years, then I'll be profitable. Because if you're profitable, that means you can hire experts, and then you can start outsourcing stuff, and you can grow even faster.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So that's been a key lesson for us too. Be a little bit more conservative with what you pay yourself and use those funds to reinvest into key people into the business. And I want to ask you real quick is the CEO started already?
Today was his first day of training.
Wow. Okay. So you now have 4, 5, 6, 7 employees. Are you feeling pretty good about the people that you've hired?
Yes and no.
Hiring people is a learning experience, and we've had some serious failures in that. Like, we hired a sales lady that turned out to not be an amazing person, and I wish I had done a background check. But
Oh, really?
yeah.
We did a background
Wow,
check
okay, I won't-
after we were no longer working
Did
together.
you find some fraud stuff or whatever?
We found
It sounds
12 plus cases of her losing in court battles, and
She was never dishonest with any of our customers, but she just wasn't as forthright with us as she should have been on a number of situations. More self-serving.
Got it.
So part of
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense.
we were selling at a certain percentage for the number of leads we were getting in, and we didn't know any better as to be like, what is a good percentage? And we just assumed that she was giving everybody enough time, and we've brought in a new sales team and a new sales manager, and he's like, we need 4 to 5 salespeople. And for months, this lady was like, no, I've got it all. And she just wanted the easiest sales possible
she was just scraping that cream off the top.
instead of
Yeah.
giving everybody, all of our customers, the right service.
Did you see your revenue double with moving on from her?
This is just a month old.
Oh yeah, this month. So we just hired our new sales team. Just kind of finished training them. So we took a little hit while in transition, but it's going to be
Yeah.
great from here on. So.
There'll be better people to work with, and there'll just be more of them. So all of our potential clients will get a lot more attention, and I think that will double sales.
That is pretty incredible. Okay. I just texted my wife and said, please keep the kids out of here. I'm recording an interview. And she responded, I didn't know she was offering you some yummy chocolate brownies that I made.
Oh.
So that is why she sent her in here. Gosh.
Hope they were regular brownies, Mr. Malarkey.
Yeah, dude, they're for the kids. Come on. Speaking of,
I know
that
what
looks
happens
like a
out there
water
in
bong.
California. I don't know.
That looks like a water bong in the background back there.
That's a thermometer. That is a Da Vinci,
Oh, it is?
a Da Vinci thermometer. Saying it is the perfect temperature out here in Madison, Wisconsin, and you should come visit.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love it. Next
No
to the
tornado
turntable.
warnings at all.
You guys are very cool. You have a water bong and a turntable in the background. That's pretty awesome. So anyway, all right. So you don't feel okay. I get it. This is one of the big lessons that's been for me in the last year is the hiring part. And I was going to ask you about your hiring processes, but since you failed to do a background check and had a bum working for you, no, I shouldn't say that. Had somebody that you weren't too stoked on in the end. We won't talk about that, and maybe we can have your CEO back on at some point and find out how he
Sure.
finds great people.
Sure.
But I will say this because this is something I think is actionable people can take away from, especially if they own a business or getting ready to start one. I had a awesome time on that boat trip we were just talking about. Went on a boat trip with a bunch of entrepreneurs, and Tom, I can't pronounce his last name, Tom K, the Bitcoin.
Sure.
Kinoshenko or something.
Yes, Kenishenko. He told me the system that he uses to hire people, and it's really well thought out. But basically, he quantifies his employees or potential hires on a scale. It could have been A through D. It could have been 1 through 4, whatever. Let's just, for the sake of this talk, let's say 1 through 4. And everybody you're looking to hire or it's going to employee is always going to get the job done at a baseline. You have to get the job done, right? Mm-hmm. So your 1s are your baseline. They get the job done. The 2s get the job done and occasionally will impress you, go above and beyond, overperform, overdeliver. A 3 is somebody that obviously gets the job done, but then constantly, or let's just say 50% of the time, overimpresses or goes above and beyond, overwhelms, not overwhelm, overimpresses, overdelivers. But a 4 is somebody who always gets the job done and always overdelivers.
Yeah.
And he explained to me the system of hiring that he uses where they do these interviews and blah, blah, blah. But he gets to the point where he only hires 3s and 4s. Obviously, he shoots for 4s, but they're so rare that he's happy with 3s when he gets them. And he tries to groom them into a 4. But it really made me stop and think about my business and look at my employees that I had, and which at the time was about 8. And I thought each one by one, they had 1, 2, 3, or 4. And it made me almost want to cry because out of the 8, I think 7 were 1s and 2s.
Right.
Probably mostly closer to 1s.
Yep.
Top grading.
How do you find people that are 3s and 4s, and how do you even know? Because we've hired people that are like, yes, this person is great, and they get there and we're like, oh, this is super lazy.
They suck. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not alone. So he runs ads and he tries to get at least 50 applicants for every ad, right?
Where does he run an ad at?
It's a good question. I should ask, but I would assume anywhere and everywhere. He said multiple places, so I'm going to just go off the cuff and say, Craigslist, Monster.com, local colleges. I run ads from the local colleges here and get some good applicants from that. And then I guess just other job boards and asking. What's worked for me too is asking my current employees and social networking people, hey, we're looking for this if you know anybody. So you still hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. So what he does then, he gets 50 to 100 applicants, and he whittles it down to 20 to 30 based on looking at their resumes, right? Mm-hmm. And in the resumes, after doing that, he will then have those 20 to 30, he will ask them to set up 3-way calls with their previous employers or their references. And from that, let's just say it was 25 people, 15 will go by the wayside because they just won't even do it, right? 10 will set up the calls. And once they have the calls set up, he said he'll do the calls with the 10. He said it's unbelievable what happens. He said on those calls, like the ones that are the 3s and 4s, their employer is like, dude, you're really getting, a gift with Mike. Like he was an amazing employee. I feel bad we downsized and just cut that department out, or we sold that part of the business, and I wish we had kept him for something, but you're doing great, and whatever. And then he said you'll have the opposite. You'll have employers that will be like, why did you say that you increased our revenue 66% when he would ask, so it says here on here that he increased revenue 66% by doing this, and the employer would be like, you did not, He said it'll literally be so revealing that like they looked at the resume and they looked perfect. And he, and if he had called and just said, hey, I was looking at this, he may have gotten the response, he may not have. But he said sometimes we'll find that people are confrontational in those things, whatever. He said, but they're really revealing. And by the end of the calls, he said, we're always down to like 2 or 3 that are just amazing. And then we do an in-depth interview at that point and make a decision on who we want to hire.
That makes so much more sense. We, for some reason, we haven't been doing, background checks. We haven't been doing reference calls. But to do all that stuff before you waste your time on an interview makes way more sense to me.
We did try a survey, and that seemed to work okay. So what we basically we were hiring for a new tech guy, and we had them, they had to send us an email with an attachment of a photo they took from a downloaded version of the software, and we made them jump through all of these hoops. And at the end of the day, after a week, we had one guy who made it through every hoop successfully, and we were like, "You're the guy."
And what position was that for?
Tech support.
Tech support. Okay, and he did well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is he still with you?
Yeah. He's phenomenal.
He's a good employee.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's so easy when you're in the shoes that we're in, or anybody listening has a business. It's easy to hire somebody when you get excited about them, and you don't realize that for what you're hiring them for, they may not suck. So that's a great idea to create some sort of survey and hoops. And I've heard of people.
We had probably
somebody,
20 or 30 people send in resumes, but 2 people finished the test. So we would have been wasting our time.
The entire thing.
And the test was not hard. It was 3 questions. And most people are just too damn lazy. They're like, well, you don't want too damn lazy working for you. So
yeah, that's why they're unemployed to begin
with. Exactly. And
okay, so
hit me.
What?
Oh, I was going to say, Tom conversation about the 1, 2, 3, 4. That was actually a book that Mike read, and I also read. It was called Top Grading. I actually wouldn't even recommend reading it because pretty much your summary right there was the entire book.
You can read a summarized version of it called Who his son wrote. It's pretty good.
But it's all about that. He calls them A, B, and C players instead of 1, 2, 3, 4.
Of grading people, knowing the value.
I just found a PDF. If you just Google top grading summary, maybe I'll link this up on the webpage.
Yeah, they have a free PDF.
Resources, but yeah, this is really, oh wow, man, this is a good thing to Google. And I've heard of that book, but never thought about it. That's interesting. So
it changed the way we think about it, with the way we think about employees, like kind of ranking them, both on like talent, but also on pay. Because you can have like you were saying, like someone who's a 3 or a 4, but if they're making too much money, then they're underqualified for the amount of pay, and that would naturally decrease their rank to like a 1 or a 2. Mm-hmm. Or you could have someone who's doing something very simple.
No. What do you mean by that?
You can't, like, even if the person's a 4, if they're doing work that should only be paid like half of what you're paying them, then it's not worth it, right? Or vice versa. You could have someone who's like a 1 or a 2 at the position you have them at, but if you switch them to a lower paying, less skilled job, they could be a 4.
Right. So like you hire somebody for tech support, they're a 4, they kick ass, they do more than what's needed of them, but you promote them to tech manager, and now they're looking over people, and they could be a terrible tech manager.
This is true.
So now all of a sudden they're a 1 when they were better off at a different position.
So
I get it.
Not necessarily hiring and not necessarily firing all the time, but making sure you're getting for work out of everybody and you find the position that makes them succeed. So like Mike and I, not outstanding managers, we wouldn't be 4s. Put us in a creative place, 4s.
That's such a good way to look. I'm like a 1. I'm like a 0.1 as a manager and a 4 in the creative space. Yeah. It's that's interesting. So awesome. And then are you worried? Well, all right. I don't want to keep going down that road because we can talk about it all day long, but it's exciting stuff. And I really can't wait to hear, I mean, just personally between you and me, how the CEO role works out. And this will be interesting. There's not many playbooks out there that if you're a founder and you hire a CEO, how do you do that? So
For us,
I'd love to chat.
It's a 2 thing. It's one, I think he will make the business better doing stuff that we don't know how to do. But it's a quality of life thing, like, yes, it will cost us. He's not inexpensive, but all of a sudden now we don't have to deal with stuff anymore and we have free time, and we can get back to the whole point of this thing, which is like the name of your podcast says, is to make money while you sleep. I'm not interested in growing a company just to grow it or to make more money. I want time.
Yeah. Time is the most valuable asset. And here's the cool thing too. A lot of people confuse this theme of the podcast is like, hey, build a business so you can just surf all day and play. And yeah, if you want to do that, great. But most of the successful people that we talk to, one of the things they truly enjoy doing is building great things. And so a lot of people may still work 40, 50, 60 hours. I don't know many people that work 60. I mean, you have to really be excited about what you've done. And maybe even you work more than that if you're super excited about it. But it's a great place to be in when you've got that kind of freedom and that creative freedom. And I really think that is the key in getting to, the $10 million house and the $200 million in the bank by the time you exit. Leaving a legacy, if you will. And not, the old way was work your butt off, climb the corporate ladder, step on everybody you can, get to the top, or invent, something awesome. But I think it's now possible to build businesses like you've got, you guys, I don't know if you've looked at top end, but you probably could be in the hundreds of millions of dollars in sales at some point by diversifying what you guys are doing or building out or continuing. And
I don't know. It's always hard to know how big your market really is.
But you can leave a legacy,
For sure.
And all right, so let's talk about the new stuff that you've been working on, and then we'll kind of wrap it up with a couple questions and close down because we're getting close to the end here. You guys launched a company selling kind of padded mats to stand on if you're working at a stand-up desk or doing dishes in a kitchen or something that help relieve joint stress or what? Tell me about that.
It's an anti-fatigue mat. You probably see them like in a lot of people's kitchens, or if like you went to a coffee shop, the barista's probably standing on one. It's not super science. It's just a nice, comfortable place that's nicer than the concrete floor, right?
Exactly.
Right.
So we've positioned it
So it's
to
anti-fatigue mat.
anti-fatigue mat. We've positioned it to sell to people with kitchens,
There's a couple of them out there.
and also targeted towards people with stand-up desks. Because that was a complaint that we'd heard about a lot, is people have these great stand-up desks, they're great for your health, but then standing on your feet all day kind of sucks. So this allows you to stand all day without your feet hurting.
Got it. And when did that launch?
It's been a month
3
now?
weeks? 3 weeks a month?
Hold on, and actually, we just back up. Let's do this full money pillow style. How in the hell did you get that idea?
So, Mike and I decided that we wanted to launch an Amazon product, and so we'd heard guys
And what do
doing
you
well
mean by
on
an Amazon product?
What's that?
What do you mean? I mean, I know what this means, but to the listeners, what do you
Right.
mean by an Amazon product?
Okay.
Not something that sells on Amazon.
Yeah,
in the Amazon
Something that
in
sells
Braz-
on
in
Amazon.
Brazil.
Yeah, so when you go to Amazon.com and there's stuff for sale, those are all provided by people or businesses or vendors.
So
Not
you wanted
robots.
a product. Your main channel or exclusive channel was going to be through Amazon.
Yep.
Right.
Right?
And so we had heard
Okay.
about all these people having success selling items through Amazon. And so one day, Mike and I kind of talked about a list of things that would be very important to us. And being the booth business was very technical. We wanted something non-technical.
We got about
Something very simple.
a list of about 30 different criteria to kind of be part of our what we would take on as a project, and then hopefully try to improve.
Give me a quick rundown of what that not
That's
all
secret.
30,
That's secret, Sean.
Secret sauce, Sean. No, I mean, so it's different for everybody, but we wanted it to be uncool. We like there's a lot of young entrepreneurs want it to be cool, right? They want to change the world. They want to like do something with an app or something like that. A mat is not
why
very
uncool?
cool because there's less competition. Everybody's.
And when it's
Have you
not-
been to
yeah,
San
we're not
Francisco?
gonna-
Everybody's trying to
Okay.
make an app. Everyone's got. Oh, check out my cool new
Yeah.
tech company.
But they're not going to sell apps on Amazon, so I think we're a little...
Right, but or anything cool, like it could be like a neat iPhone case or like something that's something hip, kids are doing. We want it,
You're
no moving
insulting our
parts,
friends right now.
easy to ship.
Awesome. Yeah.
But if you want to know how I found it, I basically went on to a certain category in Amazon. I went to like kitchen and dining, and then you can click on bestsellers, and you can see what the top selling things on Amazon are. And so I was just kind of perusing through when I saw the mats, and I was kind of like, these have been in the top 100 for 2 days. And granted, it just so happened to be in the top 2 and the top 100 the day that I went there. They're not there anymore. And so I was just pondering through, saw this, and I was like, those would be kind of cool to sell. There's nothing that's going to break. The price is nice.
Support should be easy.
Yeah, the price was over
non-existent.
$40. The only thing somebody might not like is the color. And so then we went to Alibaba. We ordered a bunch of samples of different mats and
And for those that don't know, Alibaba is a almost like an eBay, but kind of matches up buyers with suppliers. Mainly in China.
Factories.
Okay.
Then we looked.
It makes
at
it super easy. Yeah.
We looked at the competition, and we looked at all the negative reviews that were out there, and we saw some trends as to what people were complaining about and not happy about, and then we compared that to the things that they were happy about, and then we looked for a product and helped design a product that met all that criteria.
Okay, so you actually designed. You didn't find somebody that was making them currently and say these are the ones we need based on all that criteria.
Well, we narrowed it down and then we made some tweaks to it.
Got it.
But
Seriously or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Mike's smiling. Yeah. Wait, and let me just ask you, because I would think what I know from Alibaba, like if I want to go search for sunglasses, right?
Sure.
See these? I can go find a million guys on there that are manufacturing sunglasses, and I can get them for a couple bucks a pair. But I would think it might be difficult to say, hey, you know what? On the inside here, it says electric. Can we make it say water?
We have, like with our photo booth company, we've got maybe like 12 or 13, 14 different vendors, and there's things that we've made changes to. And they're
willing to do it, and it's fine. And like,
sure, it's all a matter of order quantity. I'm not.
how much you're gonna buy.
You can't make it.
Well, that
put
next
hover
question,
shoes on it or something.
50 mats, 100 mats, 200 mats.
We're buying the last orders were for thousands.
Really?
Yeah.
What the? You're killing it. If you're buying thousands, and I get, if you're gonna buy something in thousands of quantity, what do you need? I'd be happy to help you out.
Right. Yeah. So
Yeah,
like we're probably gonna try to come out with like a grounding mat, to capture.
You don't get electrocuted while you're.
Right. Yeah. Things like that, and they'll do it. Like they'll do that. If we wanted a different color they didn't have, I'm sure they'd make it. Put it in different packaging, different branding. So like,
I cannot wait to get to the details, man. I gotta just cut you off. So you get this idea, you get excited, and I know there's like people listening. This is not as easy as you think, but there's a whole science to launching a product on Amazon. You guys, when was this idea? March, February, January, December?
No,
Maybe
November,
we
October.
were slack.
Okay.
We were busy with the photo booth business, so it was kind of something we did in the background.
We could have done it faster, but not knowing what to do was, a learning curve. I think if anybody's doing this for the first time, you got to anticipate 6 months to learn all this stuff. And we had an advantage that we know a lot of people who are in it,
right?
And they could educate us.
And it might only take you a couple hours a week to do, but it just takes time. Because like when you order your samples, you're gonna get some that suck. You're gonna get one you like. You gotta order more. I didn't like this color. Can I see some other color samples? Well, the quality kind of sucked on this one. It was falling apart. Is this normal? And so you have a lot of questions.
You guys make it sound easy, but literally, you have already a lot of experience in dealing with China.
Right.
Number one,
a lot of
B,
experience.
have access to a lot of friends that are doing pretty well on Amazon.
And you have to be willing to risk a lot of cash. Like we'd order these, from 12, 13 different companies, and you're spending $100, $150, $200 after shipping to get each of these things here. And you're like, oh, this one sucks.
You can't return it, can you?
Yeah, and then you like.
Can you return it or no?
No, of course not. It's China. They don't give a shit.
I get it
back.
So you're like, hey, Mom, here's a shitty mat. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Great. I've got one in my
sitting
kitchen.
in the kitchen. Yeah.
But
they're still okay.
Yeah.
It's just not as great as the one we ended up going with.
Yeah, and then you got to take the huge risk.
So if
at
your
the end
mom's
of the day.
listening, don't feel bad, Mom. It's still okay. I'm kidding.
There's minimum order quantities, so like we had to order 500 for the very first time that we did it, and so that was $4,000 or $5,000. We had to I hope this works. We've never done this before. $9,000. We had to be like, all right, I don't know if this is gonna work or not.
Yeah, hopefully Amazon works. Let's do it.
Woohoo! Yeah.
Started on page
you roll
20.
it out. When did you roll it out?
A month ago. So
A month ago. So we are right now. This
End
is
of May.
July 2 today.
Yeah.
And you guys rolled this out June.
Yep.
yeah, like right in the
So
beginning
what
of
happened?
June.
Nothing. We were on page
Really?
20 of Amazon for the first 2 weeks. We didn't.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, if you
With
put
all
something
our
up on
friends,
Amazon,
everything it was that slow of a rollout?
we didn't do a launch. If you just put up something on Amazon, nothing will happen.
Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
you'll-
get that. So and did you mean for that to happen that way? Or did you learn that that's what happens?
No.
No, we were coordinating, getting things shipped in once the product was there.
We were waiting for your sister-in-law to finish taking photos of the mat. Mm-hmm.
She's
So we had
slow.
to get our photos in. We had to make a custom graphic.
Which, by the way, those came out amazing.
They
the
did.
photos look great. Yeah.
They did.
I saw those photos. I was like, Mariana, you killed it.
Yeah, she did a great
You
job.
need to double your prices. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but there was literally like a lot of coordinating with different models and locations.
Oh yeah, I bet. And so
Yeah,
what
I
happened
can tell.
was about 2.5 weeks went by. We finally got all our photos. We got all of our graphics made. All the copy was written the way we wanted it, and we did our launch. And so then you kind of just wait, and you kind of offer your friends a big discount. You try to get a bunch of sales. And
Also, you have to risk. I mean, just on the launch alone, we spent a couple grand.
oh yeah, because you have to give away a bunch to your friends for half off. You give them to other people for free, and you hope to get a bunch of reviews back. And so
Because that is the difference maker. This is funny. I was talking about from a sales and psychology perspective. If you guys don't have this book, do you have this book?
nope,
No, I know a lot about
heard some good things.
Ogilvy though.
I'm gonna buy it and send it to both of you. It's if you're listening in the car, it's Ogilvy on advertising, and it is unbelievable. But he talks about in here, like one of the key differentiators. He's like, you don't have to have the best product. You don't have to have the best product. You can be the same as everybody else. You just have to convince people that your product is good. He's like, because when people come to a page to buy a product, oftentimes there's no proof. And he said, testimonials can make up that difference, and then different elements of copy and things. So that if I'm comparing A to B, and A just says, "Oh, I got this great product, and then B says, "Oh, I got this great product," but then there's actually customers that I bought this product, it was amazing. I bought this product, it was good. I bought this product, it was good. And then it also talks about in here through your testimonials, you can cover different objections that people have.
Yep.
So I was worried that if I bought this product, this would happen, but I'm so excited not. Or I was gonna buy another product because this one was super high price, and I'm so glad I didn't. Or I should have listened to my intuition the first time and just bought this product. I ended up having to return the other product, and you do get what you pay for. And testimonials like that, like not make them up, but find legitimate ones that do that. And
I think the easiest way to do it is to have friends and family and acquaintance buy it at first. They're gonna reach out because it's at a discount, so they're willing to like buy it without testimonials already out there. But then they actually leave honest feedback, which is great because then you can make changes. Like we've from just the friends and family we sold it to, we decided to add a few more colors. We changed the way that they were shipped, so they were shipped safer. But
really?
Yeah, like Amazon was in too small of a box.
We talk about.
Yeah, like one of them was
really
shipped like this, a little bent. So when it arrived, it was sitting there on the floor with a kink in it. So we're like, hey, we need a bigger box.
Got it.
Yeah.
And do you guys, in your house there, do you have like boxes with the mats in another bedroom?
No.
Or no?
So Mike's gonna go grab. He's gonna go grab the mat.
Said no on that.
But everything is.
But my question is,
fulfilled
do you
by
have a
Amazon.
company that? Huh?
Everything is
fulfilled
fulfilled
by
by Amazon.
Is that part of the process with selling on Amazon?
Here's our beautiful.
Look at that.
Anti-fatigue.
It looks light. You're kind of holding it very.
Oh,
I
it
would assume
is.
they'd be pretty heavy.
No, it's just a mat.
What's the bottom like? Like waffle on the bottom?
These are our dimple technology grip.
Okay.
They
So it
grip
doesn't
the floor
slip.
better. Beveled edges.
4,390 P7 rubber.
It's all about the Skycore technology, Sean.
Yes.
So,
It's the
anyways,
Yamamoto.
to go back, yeah, everything is fulfilled by Amazon. And one reason to have things fulfilled by Amazon, one, less headache. Two, they handle packaging, shipping, returns, everything. And three, Amazon Prime is money. People will buy a product just because you have Amazon Prime shipping.
And you can spend the time instead of trying to manage a warehouse. What?
What was that?
I sort when I go to search for stuff. I sort by things that are only available by Prime.
So do I.
Exactly.
But like instead of trying to run a warehouse and trying to be good at managing people and forklifts and crap like that, you can just be good at making your product better, reaching out to your customers.
Plus, it's expensive.
That's so awesome. So,
Yeah.
is that hard to get set up with Amazon?
No. Well, so your
We had our
product has to
employee
have a UPC code on it. So you do have to be a little premeditative. You have to tell Amazon that you're coming out with a product, you're going to send it in. They want to know what the UPC is. You have to have a very specific barcode that meets all their specifications for them. And otherwise,
And that is all already done in China, right?
they
No.
put the barcode on it for us, but we had to send it to them.
Yeah.
Got it.
So there was a small learning
that's
curve
cool. So they're doing all
to
that.
get that in.
Okay. Okay, so you got it there. You launch. It sits for a couple of weeks. Then you say, or not you launch. You get it live. It sits for a couple of weeks. And you say, you know what? We have this coordinated effort. Everything's ready now. Boom. Unleash the floodgates. Let's call all our friends. Here's a discount. Here's a discount. Here's some free ones, whatever.
Right.
And if it's one of your friends listening, they had to pay. Like, they got to work at being a better friend, right? Because some got it free.
Most everyone got it for free.
Yeah.
And for those of you that paid, you really got screwed. No, I'm kidding. So anyway,
They still got
you
an excellent product, and it still cost us money.
Yeah. We basically gave it a cost for like acquaintances or like friends of friends.
Yeah, you don't have to get into all the details. So you get 10 reviews, 20 reviews, 30 reviews.
Like we
Out of
got 15 or so. We still got to hound some people.
We got to have a
In
few
a week,
conversations.
2, 3.
We ended up
total?
giving away 26 for free and a bunch at half off. And today, I think we have 17 reviews.
Got some
Okay,
people to
so
talk to.
17 reviews. All those, you got to get on your free friends, man. They need to be moved into the half off category.
Yeah, exactly. Next time.
Yeah, but no, I'm being sarcastic. But anyway, my point is this: you get those up, and then did just all of a sudden sales start flooding in? After the
No.
first review, 5 reviews, like what happened?
So we did the Friends launch at the same time. I coordinated a Google AdWords campaign, as well as the Amazon ads campaign. And basically, the whole thought was to drive as much traffic and sales to.
And hold on. Amazon ads, I thought that was like minimum budget of 10 grand a month.
No, oh no.
They're
Nope.
very
Okay.
inexpensive.
I think I spend $10 a day on it, if that. And I'm maxing it out.
Got to get your skate swing on there.
Yeah.
Well, no, you know what it was? They reached out to me at one point because we have all these digital trainings. And maybe this is what it is. So it would be an ad for our digital trainings that are next to books that are about the topic.
That's probably.
And so it's external. It doesn't go through Amazon.
Yep.
So, but it was like 10 grand a month with a minimum commitment of a certain time. And I'm like, yeah, I just don't want to throw 30 grand at something that's completely outside of anything we've ever done. I have no clue what it'll return.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to
Okay,
guarantee
so-
it, then.
Well, that's cool. That's great to hear. I didn't realize that. I would have just assumed that was the way for all the advertising.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just external links. Who knows? So anyway, so you have you run some ads. You run Google ads, and and just out of curiosity, did the Google ads and the Amazon ads pay? Were they profitable, or were you paying, or?
I don't know.
You know, you can't embed a tracking code. You can't convert any conversion codes, so you really don't know how effective it is. And
Crap,
so, you know, at the end of the day, you kind of have to just wait. And so the coupon for our friends ended.
You got to throw a bunch of money at this with kind of the big hopes.
And it's a big hopes because we've definitely had friends who've done stuff and it doesn't work, or they didn't have the right product, or they didn't have the right marketing. So we started off at like 1 or 2 sales a day, and then we're on we went from page 20 to like page 2, and then 2, 3, 4 sales a day, and that gets us on to page 1, and then we're slowly climbing page 1. At the end of the day, though, we literally, and I mean this with all humbleness, we have the best mat for sale. I think
Did you buy into your competitors, or can you just look at them and know what they are?
we know everything about the mat market now, so we look at our competitors like, I know where you got that mat from, and I know this mat, and that mat sucks. Our closest competitor is selling a similar quality mat for like $130. We're selling ours for between $60 and $70. So I think that just makes a big difference, and that's been our philosophy with everything, is just to don't worry about the margins or don't worry about the advertising as much. Just go and get the best possible product, make the best possible product, and then let people know. So our photo booths are better than everybody else's, and I not because I'm saying that, but because we've worked really, really hard to make them that way, and that makes sales that much easier.
That's awesome. I love that. So now, can I ask how many of those are selling a day?
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Are
you excited, though?
Yeah, we sell like between 10 and 15 a day now.
You're
And
still-
our
I
peak
thought you were really
day
gonna
was 27.
Huh? Your peak was 27.
Yeah.
10 to 15 a day. Yeah, that's super exciting, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, and
It
so
is.
actually what just happened yesterday was we're approaching our 500 in sales already. We're almost out from our giveaway, from the big push, and we were like, crap, we're not going to have more inventory
We've
in
got
for
like
4
a
weeks.
6-day supply, and we're gonna have to.
So we're having some expedited over, but in order to try to decrease sales, we upped our price $20, $25 actually. We're up to 77 per mat now because we're like, it'll get less sales, we'll be cool. We almost sold just as many at 77 as we did at the previous price.
Say, what if you sell more?
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
we're just like,
'Cause there's-
holy crap. And
Well, there's
so-
the whole quality versus
Value.
well, whatever.
Right.
So that's been one of the key lessons that we learned this year was back in January we did the same thing with our photo booths, is that everyone else in the market we were beating everybody else, all of our competitors, and they dropped their prices by like $1,000 a photo booth, and so we decided to raise our price $500. I don't know. So we did that, and sales went up.
It's such an important lesson. I think that's interesting. Yeah, I mean, people will associate value with price, and it's fascinating to me to always see how that happens. Every time I've ever tried it, for the record, it's failed me. So,
Well,
congrats to
that
you guys and
doesn't
everybody
that
who's
doesn't
got it.
mean that your thing isn't worth that or whatever. What the
Sure.
lesson was for me was, don't try to decide what the value is to your customers, maybe you most of your stuff at 97, maybe that's an appropriate value, or at least like, but we were guessing that they would determine the value to be less. And it's not true. We let them decide. We'll just keep toying with it till we figure it out.
It's such a cool experiment that you're doing. So you literally sold more, so did you bump it to 97?
No, it's still at 77. So I think an important thing to know with all purchases,
hold on.
really.
What happens with Amazon if you sell out and they know you don't have the inventory?
We don't know.
We don't know. We didn't want to. We don't want to experience that. So we thought it would slow. We are selling less. You know, we were selling close to 20 a day, and now we're selling closer to like 10 at the higher price. But we're making more profit.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
got
double
it.
the profit.
So now you've switched. You've switched to that price, and you're going to have them expedited so they get there quick. So you're not.
Right.
You don't ever hit zero.
Yeah, and so with Amazon sales, like you want your product to be in an impulse buy kind of price range. So if we up the price to $120, which is what our competitor has it at, like the same mat basically, it might not be as a quick a sale. And so they might see it and have to make a decision and ask somebody, like, can we buy this?
I feel like the sub $100 market is still impulse for most of our market.
Yeah.
For the kind of people that buy your mat, probably the same kind of people that buy my trainings. But yeah, I haven't tested in a while. At one point I moved prices from 97 to 197 to just see if that had any impact, and then we did 2 payments of 97 as opposed to just one. And in a time frame where we would have made 20 sales, we ended up making 2. So it was a really bad idea. Yeah.
What, have you tried 147? Have you tried 77?
I haven't. And the 77 is like a value proposition. If I go too low, then I feel like it's bad for the branding.
I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about profit. So if we were to sell, you know, 15,
it is and it isn't though. I
Yeah.
publish other experts.
Yeah.
They've got their own branding
Yeah.
aspirations. So I have to be respectful of that.
Oh, I dig. But for us, like maybe 77 is too high, and we'd end up making more money because we'd sell more at 67. We'd sell more at 57, but we make less profit. So we have to have somewhere in there, right?
I have a feeling I'd be more profitable at 27. But the problem is,
I don't know.
yeah, the problem is in my industry is there's a caps from 27 up to 1,000. It's kind of usually the top end, 2,000.
Right.
And you have to have a pretty giant value separation between the two. And if there's not that big of a difference, then there's a big problem with the upper product. And that's where most of the profit's made on those bigger. But anyway, I don't want to get too deep into it. But all right, so
The
this is
upsells.
super cool. So my question for you then becomes, have you started on number 2 product, number 3 product? No.
We're looking. I'm starting to look right now.
Got it. Okay. And then next question is, are you worried about, I would fear with Amazon that somebody could come in and hurt you in that perspective and then drop your sales dramatically because they outrank you. Or,
Sure. Yeah, I'm sure it's a very fickle beast.
Do you guys have a website built for that mat?
No.
You should consider that because I do some research on some products that I buy.
Yeah.
So I go looking for them externally.
I've never done that on Amazon personally, and it converts so much better than any regular website.
I get what he's saying. He's saying just have like an informational website almost. Like here's
Yeah,
some
because
info
there's
on
been
our mat.
products that, like for example, this is going to sound funny, but I was going to buy a ping pong, automatic ping pong machine so that I can play ping pong by myself. That's how much of a
Amazing.
loser I am. Yeah. Well, it's like 80 mile an hour serves and
Holy
it just
crap.
varies. I'm like, cool. Like I can, my spare time, go hit 500 ping pong balls. And
Are you still singing from your defeat that I gave you?
you didn't beat me.
Oh, I'm pretty sure I did.
Did you beat me?
I think we tied. We did a rubber match.
So
No.
anyway, there's two main people out there that make these. So I wanted more information than what I could find beyond reviews, beyond description, and I wanted to see their websites. So I went, and obviously because of this kind of product, I went and looked at the websites, and I made a decision on one over the other. It was a low cost and a high cost, and their reviews were like, "Get the low cost; it's that good." And then I'm like, "But I'm like, I want to pay 500 instead of 100." And even though they look like they do the same thing, this one looks way cooler, but this one does the same thing. People are saying in their reviews. So I went externally and looked for more information.
Yeah. So that was a high
And you guys
dollar
have good enough
price point.
M&G. Huh?
So that was a really high dollar item as well. So like you were past the
Oh,
impulse
it was the
buy.
$100 one I ended up buying because their website convinced me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, they had a video demonstration on their website that I was like, oh, that's the questions that I had that nobody talked about that got answered.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, people do that I do that. Anything over like $60, I do some research on. But if it's lower than that, like.
Yeah. I'm just saying. I don't know. Just an idea.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
It could be something to do in the future.
Phase 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Phase 2.
You didn't. You guys. Last time we talked, I don't have to mention it, but you had an idea for something else that you were working on. That is that come to fruition, or kind of just lost
The Hammer
interest in that,
project?
or?
Is that what you're referring to?
Yes.
It's sort of on
Hammer
hold.
was the
Yeah, we've kind of put it on hold. We've been putting a lot of effort into the business, like we kind of talked about, and so our guy that we had helping us launch it, we've tried to focus him on what he was good at, because a lot of time was just kind of being thrown away. And so we realized like that was our strength. That was what we were good at, was finding these products, and we were trying to let somebody else do it for us. And so we put it on hold until this new CEO can really take over.
That's so awesome.
A mixture of things,
All right.
like we're probably going to come out with some more Amazon products in different related fields, but it's also at the end of the day, like we're trying to get back to why we did this in the first place, which was, have freedom.
The freedom.
Create cool shit and have freedom.
So taking advantage of that more. We had a great winter, did a lot of traveling.
Where'd you go? You did China, I know that.
Saw you in California. I went to Costa Rica. Mike, you went.
I just did China. I spent a lot of time Arizona, some in California.
The islands.
That's right. I went to the island. You forget almost. I went to the island. I went to Puerto Rico and St. Thomas and St. John for 3 weeks. So anywhere to escape this frigid cold in the Midwest.
Basically, I want to get to the point here in the next few months where we can start having the ability to ask ourselves the question, what would you do if you didn't have to do it for money? Mm-hmm. Like we have so much ambition and so many skills now to be in a place where you don't have to make it, well, how much money is it going to make? It's just like, how much better will this make life? And those are questions that we don't always get to ask ourselves, and I feel very privileged to be
I'm there. Financially, I'm not there that I can just dick around and I don't have the business and work on that, but
sure you do.
Yeah, you do.
Well, whatever. But I've had that question before, and I actually mentioned it on a previous episode, and then my answer for me is solar. Living in California, we get a lot of sun, and we get where I live, we get a decent clip of wind. So solar and renewable energy. So for me, that's I think that would make the world a better place.
You want to start a solar company? I've been thinking about it a lot.
Dude, yeah, let's talk when we're done, because
right.
I'm so passionate. But it's funny too. I mentioned it before, and just a couple days ago, one of my really great listeners pinged me on Facebook and said, "Hey, I found this cool solar book on Amazon, and I bought it. And I thought of you because you mentioned it." Yeah, it's about getting into solar.
Yeah,
so.
I'm actually really into climate change lately. It's something really important that people can't afford to ignore anymore. And if you haven't seen it, the second to last episode on Cosmos nails it on the head.
So good.
And so
I have. What is Cosmos?
Cosmos is it's a revamp of an old '70s show by Carl Sagan, the astrophysicist. So now they have Neil deGrasse Tyson, the astrophysicist, and they basically just go through the history of science and the universe and nature in a very compelling way. And if you're a science geek at all, we kind of are, it's really fun watching.
If you've ever stared at the stars and just wondered, this show is perfect for you.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
Yes.
But anyways,
right,
mark my words,
on
within 5 years, solar will be cheaper. Solar will be cheaper than natural gas, and there's going to be a huge rush. It's, people have always solar doesn't work, solar doesn't do it does, it just hasn't economically been viable. That problem will solve itself as soon as it becomes economically viable, and it's very close.
I think I had this conversation with Ken Shenko or somebody from our group, and this is the part that's fascinating to me, is that solar has doubled in use as far as the power being consumed in the world. It's doubled in use every 18 months for the last, I don't know, however many years.
That's because it gets half
right now.
Every 18 months, it doubles in capacity and gets cut in cost by half.
Efficiency.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it 18 months? I thought it was a longer period of time for that.
I think it's only 18 months. It might be 2 years.
So anyway,
that's the doubling.
The prediction was at that current growth rate. So you have things getting more efficient. You have things getting more cost efficient as well.
Yep.
and then you have the usage going up. So the prediction was, I think, if at that math, at that growth curve in 12 years, 100% of the power will be consumed by solar, which solar or wind or renewable. But I doubt that's going to happen. But it's going to be a massive, massive shift.
So there's a solar maintenance company for anybody looking to start a solar maintenance company. It's going to be huge.
Yeah, no doubt. So anyway, but yeah, that's a great place to aspire to be in. Like Tecku and Hansen, and that's like,
not only will you make money, but you'll change the world.
And you'll enjoy yourself.
I never really wanted to change the world
I
before,
don't.
but this is one of those things. It's like, I don't know. I just think it'd be really cool, and you could. I'm not doing it because it could change the world, but that is an awesome benefit that comes along with it.
I think that's the folly of a lot of people is they go out with the intention of changing the world, and they either end up creating something that's not good for the world because they didn't know any better, or they just end up being miserable or failing. I think if you come from a place of like, I'm going to make my world better, you can stumble upon something that you enjoy or that makes you happy or more alive, and you end up doing better for the world in the end, I think. You can lead by example at least.
Dude, that's an incredible analogy. I'm going to ask the audio editor to use that as the soundbite for the opening.
Cool.
Boom.
Yeah. So, yeah, no, I just want to get to a place where I can come into my house and open up the refrigerator and freezer and stand there for 20 minutes while it cools me because I don't care about
Right.
the
power is
electricity
free.
that I'm using.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I'm always yelling at my
Solar will
kids,
change
"Shut
the world,
freezer."
man. Like if you have solar
It
power,
will.
you
We're in
have
a drought
fresh
right now.
water everywhere, right? You can just take it out of the ocean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Endless
Boil
amounts
up.
of
Because you
power.
can
It's crazy.
the cost of desalination goes away if you're powering it through a renewable energy. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Dude, I feel like we've had this conversation. Have we had this conversation?
It's always exciting to talk. You know, like these are fun conversations to have. The privilege of having. I guess.
They are, and hopefully it's inspiring for those who are listening. You're not getting bored. Sorry, we're kind of rambling. But anyway, okay, two quick things. I mentioned earlier Ogilvy on advertising. I'm going to send you guys both a copy of this. I think it's... You guys
We
said,
win.
one of you said you enjoyed writing copy, and I think it is pretty... It's one of the best books I've read from marketing and advertising perspective. The other one I have here as well, but it's just the secret red book. I can't talk about that. But anyway,
But I have it right here.
literally is
The secret to immortality.
Yeah, I mean,
And
Sean
great
is really,
sex.
Sean is really 127. That is the secret to life in that book.
yeah, I mean, look at this book. That is the yeah. Look at this page. It's a kick-ass book. But anyway, so good book. Have you guys read any good books? You mentioned several. Top Grading was one, and some others. But have you read any good books since we last talked, or in general that have been game-changing for you, inspiring, and motivating?
I've got usually on rotation like 4 or 5 books I'm reading at once. Right now I'm finishing up the Ben Franklin autobiography, which if you're not reading autobiographies, they're a huge source of knowledge. Right before that I read Warren Buffett's book, Snowball. I'm reading this book called Sex at Dawn, which I find super fascinating about humans and our ideas on monogamy and things like that. It's very insightful.
Whose book was the autobiography? Einstein?
Benjamin Franklin.
Ben Franklin.
Franklin.
Dude was
And it's pretty much the story of his life. Like, pretty
Dude
cool.
is a badass. He has invented so much stuff and done so much stuff. It's very humbling to see what one human can do just out of creativity and like for fun.
I love. Yeah, those are easy books to read too because they're like it's like a story. You know, it's not like
Yeah. Very cool.
Theory.
Dude. Very cool. Dude.
Yeah.
What else am I reading?
I'm reading a
Sex
lot of
at Dawn.
Goosebumps. Goosebumps books. Love them. Captivating. No,
What does that mean?
Good Night Moon. That's an excellent one.
Yeah, go the fuck to sleep already.
If you give a mouse a cookie, I have to look up a lot of the words, but
Maniac McGee. To look up
so,
the words.
that's what I do to improve my vocabulary.
Hansen, Mike Hansen. What about you?
I actually I do a lot of audiobooks, and so I did Simon Sinek's Start With Why.
He doesn't know how to read, actually. So
Don't know how to read. That's why I have to listen.
dyslexic.
What else? I've been doing books on meditation lately. I'm trying to
Have you really?
better myself. Yeah. And
How's that going?
Another friend, Noah, really suggested to get into meditation. It's very peaceful. It's nice.
Rashada?
Huh?
Noah Rashada?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
dude.
Noah's very big into meditation.
Oh, he's
so
in China right now, isn't he?
he just got back.
I got a call from China today, and I'm trying to figure out who the hell it is.
There's always somebody over there.
Your listeners are always just hearing us name drop other business guys. Like, who the hell? Noah is the owner of iStabilizer, the awesome camera accessories for your phone. Check it out.
Pick one up.
Can be bought at Walmarts around the
He
world.
saw his
Let's see.
Facebook post, but he was in Japan, I think,
Yeah.
or maybe China somewhere.
No,
and
he went to
like,
Hong Kong. He actually went like the same suit place, I believe. And
That's right. And
these
he,
lovely gems here.
Yeah, he took a picture. He walked into a camera store there, and they had a big display of all his stuff.
Yeah, in Chinese, it was really cool.
Yeah, that is super cool.
Oh,
so okay,
Predictably
what was the meditation
Irrational.
book though?
That was a book I really liked. Predictably
What is it?
Irrational.
Particularly irrational.
Yeah,
I'm
that one's solid.
gonna hang up and go to Amazon.
Oh,
and you guys this book and get the other one. So okay,
The Art of
right.
Learning. That's the other book I'm reading right now. The Art of Learning.
God, you guys are like talking
Very
too
cool.
fast. I'm gonna rewind this. Art of Learning.
Yeah. It's
Predictably irrational.
it's like one of the 3 or 4 books Tim Ferriss recommends. It basically just teaches you how to learn. Very fascinating. When you have a lot of free time, you can spend it not on looking at porn, but on bettering yourself as a human being, and then you just grow even more. It's a fun cycle.
That's a good call. We've been. I don't want to talk about the porn. We'll hang up and talk about that.
It's a phase.
More time for porn.
Have you cured? Are you cured?
I'd rather not talk about it. Yes. There's no correct answer to that. No, I'm not. Yes, no. I was never
you could say stop being an idiot and be serious. And
I
the
think we need
listeners
to-
would know that I'm joking and not legitimately being serious. But then you just fed right into it, so we'll let them think you have a porn addiction. All right. That's
You gotta
it.
get
And
a
then
wireless
last
mic,
question.
man.
Oh, and if you're looking to buy a photo booth,
Me?
please check out strikeoposephotoBooth.com and give
No,
us.
it's sappb.com or famous-photobooths.com.
And if you're looking for an awesome stand-up desk mat, check out the Sky Mat on Amazon, ranked number 5.
All right. So I'm gonna buy 2 books from what you just mentioned. If somebody leaves a review and then emails me and says I left a review, Sean, I would love the Particularly Irrational book. I would love The Art to Learn. I would love Sex at Dawn. I would love the autobiography. Was it Einstein you said?
Benjamin Franklin.
Ben Franklin. Why did
Founding
he want to
father.
say Einstein? Yes. Okay, so last question. I just had a conversation with a friend who's extremely successful, and he said that his
Thank
success.
you.
Yeah, no.
Oh, you're not
this
talking
is-
about us.
Yeah, you guys are, of course. There. He's $1 million a month successful though, so he's another level. And he said to me that he is successful because he's constantly focused on results, and it made me really stop and think about the podcast. I said, yeah, we discuss a lot of really cool stuff, but I oftentimes don't give things actionable out that can get results. So people have to kind of connect all the dots and do these things in their own businesses. So my question for you is one action item that you could recommend that gets people results that has been kind of eye-opening or groundbreaking for you.
Is this for people who have businesses already or are looking to start one?
Either or, because we have both listening.
I'll start. I'll do it for people who are looking to get into something.
Okay.
I'd say go to Amazon.com and browse bestsellers. Also go to Alibaba.com, which we spoke about before, and look for those same products. Kind of find the margins. And
Can I tell you something funny real quick?
sure.
When I was looking at solar stuff, I did a reverse image search using Google's image search tool, and it took me to an Alibaba page.
Yeah.
So of a product that was on Amazon, I was like, oh, that's awesome. It's a quarter of what this guy's selling it for.
Yep. And so,
So anyway, okay.
it's just you'll start to realize that everything you buy in life is marked up 4 to 12 times. It's not that the margins are always so thin. There's money to be made in everything. You just got to look for it and market it better.
And I would say before that, like if you want to change your mindset, most people I think go into like if they want to start a business thinking they have to invent something or they have to put a clock radio on to a hat, and then it's a new unique thing. That you do not have to be unique, you just have to be slightly better, or you have to present it better, or you have to curate. Like we made some improvements on the mat, but basically we found out what people wanted in a mat and then delivered it. We found out, we made some innovations on the photo booth, but we listened to people from experience and gave them what they were actually looking for. They may not even been saying what exactly they were, wanted, but through their actions we learned what they wanted. So yeah, you don't have to reinvent stuff. You can just make things better. You can make things more appropriate for a niche market.
Yeah, one of the reasons why our photo booths are so great for entrepreneurs, for DJs, for photographers, is because we did it. We did that grind for a year and a half of just renting them out, and we saw everything that sucked, everything that was great about them, and we improved upon it.
Yeah, you don't have to create a new app. You don't have to do cool stuff. And the other mindset change would be you don't need to make millions of dollars at it. You don't need to work at something for years and then hope to get bought out by Apple and then make your billion. You need to make just enough money so that you can have more free time, so you can continue to learn. That's what we've been doing the last 3 years is making enough money to either outsource the work to find experts, or to just give ourselves more free time so we can focus on personal growth, that has been the key step to making it to the next level. Mm-hmm. A lot of people try to hit a grand slam, and they don't have the resources, the knowledge, the wisdom, the network to do it, because you got to take baby steps and you need the time.
Dude, I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I have this idea of the legacy that I want to leave in life, and I don't think doing what I'm currently doing is going to get me there. And I'm completely okay with that, because I feel like what I'm currently doing is a stepping stone to getting to where I want to get.
Got it.
I don't know exactly where that'll come from, but
so start treating it like a stepping stone. This is not my personality. This is not my life. This is my stepping stone. So I'm going to prioritize it that way. Don't put all your time into it, I guess. And then as far as if you already have a business, do everything you can to start treating it like, start putting in experts, start putting in people who will run the business better than you, and give yourself the freedom so you get more time to grow. It's
pretty.
Love it.
It's pretty accurate.
Love it, man. This has been like freaking knowledge bombs. I hope people have gotten a lot of value out of this. I hope you stuck on to the end.
Feel free to send your checks directly to Mike and Mike if you've. Just kidding. That's free. We're giving back to the world. And here is a little exit song. I think you need a theme song, Sean. So
I have a theme song. You don't listen to my podcast, do you?
Oh. A new theme song.
A
new theme song.
Your last theme song sucked, so here's a new one.
Are you going to freestyle a theme song?
I was going to, but now I probably shouldn't. You want to sing one?
Well, you know what? I'll just say, I just want to say thank you a million times. You guys are amazing, and it's not that you don't have crazy schedules and busy lives. So I really appreciate you taking time out to do this and really giving back and adding value. And I know there's a lot of great people listening that will, well, if they don't get value out of this, they need to get to work and then come back when they're making money and listening, because there's just so many nuggets in this interview from top to bottom. So I really just want to say thanks, and I appreciate you guys coming on. And I'm going to turn it over to you for any final words or an exit song or whatever you feel inspired.
Exit song it is. Yeah. Well, but giving back, it just goes along with our philosophy. If we're going to leave some sort of legacy, I want to provide more freedom to people. That's what our photo booth business does. It is a vehicle to provide freedom for people. It doesn't make anybody millionaires. It gives them more freedom to do something that's decent for the world, just making people happy. And this is just another avenue to do that and help more people in a different kind of way. So thank you, Sean, for having the show. I know it's a lot of work.
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for helping the world become a better place.
Yeah.
Dude, I love you guys.
Watch the Money Pillow with Sean Malarkey. It's the best podcast in the world. I just made that.
Oh, I'm going to use that. Thanks, guys.
All right, Sean. Amazing. Thanks, buddy.